Welcome to the LPA License Regulatory Training video, presented by the Department of Marine Resources, Bureau of Public Health and Aquaculture. As an LPA license holder, it is important to know the regulations that guide the LPA program. This video will summarize key regulations all LPA license holders should know and follow. The Limited Purpose Aquaculture License, commonly referred to as an LPA license, is a one-year license that expires December 31st each year. An LPA license allows you to culture specific species using certain gear on no more than 400 square feet of coastal water. Regulations are rules that state agencies adopt to guide how to follow state laws. LPA regulations can be found in Chapter 2.90 and 2.92 of DMR's Aquaculture Regulations. For full text of Chapter 2 regulations, please visit the DMR Aquaculture webpage and click on the Laws and Regulations tab. Now, let's look at some of the requirements found in the LPA regulations. We will cover site marking, source of stock, water quality, site maintenance, contact information, owner-operator requirements, record keeping, and harvest license and reporting. LPA regulations include requirements for marking the site. LPAs must be marked at each corner, at each end of the gear, or in the center of the site, as dictated by gear type and site size. Marking devices must be yellow and host reflective material, as well as be distinguishable from other gear located within the site. The information that must be included on each marking device is the LPA site ID assigned by DMR, for example, ABCD 121, and the word Sea Farm displayed prominently. LPA regulations dictate the source of stock for certain species. One of the 5 source requirements is that hatcheries are the only permitted source for quahog, hen clam, Arctic surf clam, or softshell clam. A list of DMR-approved hatcheries can be found on the Resources for Growers page on DMR's Aquaculture website. Once an LPA license is issued, amendments cannot be made until the license renewal period. This includes changes to source of stock, species, mooring type, and assistance. LPA license sites may only be located in areas that are classified as approved or conditionally approved. However, regulations provide a few exemptions. For example, an LPA site may be located in an area classified as prohibited, restricted, or conditionally restricted if the LPA holder has a lease or ownership stake in a lease and only shellfish seed is cultured. Shellfish seed from an LPA site in a prohibited, restricted, or conditionally restricted area can only be moved to another aquaculture site and must comply with maximum seed size limits. A marine algae LPA site may be located within the 300 to 1 dilution zone around a wastewater treatment plant, only if the seaweed cultured is not for human consumption. LPA regulations specify site maintenance standards that license holders must follow. First, all aquaculture gear must be maintained, remain within the site boundaries, and kept in operational condition. Second, the LPA site ID and Sea Farm must be clearly marked on every marking device. Third, except for an LPA site that has received a private aid to navigation permit from the U.S. Coast Guard, each LPA site that has gear on it must be clearly marked with yellow buoys. When an LPA license is issued, the contact information on file is how DMR will continue to contact the license holder with important industry and renewal updates throughout the year. It is the responsibility of the license holder to notify the Aquaculture Division of any changes to their contact information listed on the license in writing within 30 days of the change taking effect. If you need to update your contact information, please visit the Resources for Growers page on DMR's Aquaculture website and complete the Change of Contact Information form. LPA licenses are not recorded in leads. LPA regulations include owner-operator requirements effective January 1, 2025, requiring that the LPA license holder directly supervise or designate a primary assistant to supervise the licensed activities on site. This means that the LPA license holder or primary assistant must be physically present anytime other assistants are working. This requirement applies to all LPAs held by any individual regardless of their purpose. License holders and named assistants are the only people legally allowed to handle the gear within the site. Assistants must have a copy of the LPA license with them. LPA regulations require the license holder to keep complete records of transport, transfer, harvest, and monitoring of product from the site. Reports must be made available for inspection for at least 2 years. The records must include LPA license number or site ID, site location, date, the source of shellfish, including seed if the seed is from growing areas which are not in the approved classification status, dates of transplanting and harvest, and detailed records of sales. Records of the origin and health status of all seed or shellfish stocks reared on the site must also be maintained. Your LPA license only authorizes the cultivation of organisms and use of gear listed in the decision. An aquaculture harvest license is required if you remove, possess, transport, or sell product harvested from the LPA site. The harvest license is an annual license that you need to apply for through DMR's licensing division. You can submit a paper application or apply through DMR's online system called Leads. Questions about how to obtain the aquaculture harvest license should be directed to the DMR licensing division. Any person that holds an aquaculture harvest license is required to report harvest activity to DMR's landings program each month. Monthly aquaculture harvester reports can be filed electronically through Leads or on paper. The monthly reports must be received by the landings program by the 10th of each month, and those reports need to reflect harvest activity for the previous month. Information collected as part of this reporting is kept confidential as required by law. Questions about aquaculture harvest activity reporting should be directed to the DMR landings program. Thank you for watching the LPA Regulatory Training video. Please contact the DMR Aquaculture Division with any questions at dmraquaculture@maine.gov or 207-350-7815.